All right, so here we are live streaming on YouTube. And if the YouTube crew is able to listen to this, there is definitely a lapse between when I go live and when the software tells me that I am live. So, hey, we are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Responsible Restaurant Owner channel. My name is Sham, and since 2008, I have been pretty much helping people and myself open and run restaurants out of the Silicon Valley, California. And I'm now sharing my knowledge with the world. My mission is to help 300 entrepreneurs open and run their first successful restaurant within the next 5 years. Why am I doing this? Because when I first started, I had no money, no experience, and lots of people told me it's not gonna work. And I did it. Many fine restaurants later, catering companies, juice bar, vegan cafe, distribution retail. And I'm here to tell you that the dream is real, the hustle is real. So if this is the first time for you on this channel, welcome to you. Please get a like, please subscribe, and all that's good Shazam. But hey boss, you're gonna end up doing whatever you wanna do. So what are we talking about today? Very simple. We in the hospitality industry, I think, have done a horrible job at promoting the restaurant as an attractive career, and I'm blessed and lucky to be part of so many different communities out there, restaurant managers, owners, waiters. And this video is about things waiters wish they knew before they took on the job. What I did is that I went on one social media platform, I'm not going to mention which one, and 2 days ago I pretty much put, if there was something you wish you knew before you became a waiter, what will it be? So I'm going to go straight into that page and we're going to pretty much read them, go over them, hopefully learn. I did put that it's going to be probably explicit because I do know that waiters can be pretty mean sometimes and they shoot straight from the hips. Shooting straight from the hip means it's like coming from a western, like, you shoot straight from the hip, you don't think, things just come out of your mouth. So welcome, please don't judge. This is my first try doing live and I'm loving it, because I don't have the good looks of photo, because I have the good looks, I guess, but I'm not that good at Photoshop and editing. So hopefully you're gonna enjoy it. And here we go. Let's find out about things waiters wish they knew before they took on the job. So I'm gonna go here, click on here, and okay, refresh. What is one thing you wish you knew as a waiter? So first one, you can't make every guest happy, so don't sweat it. Absolutely right. That's how we'll be doing it for 10 years. Well, it's true. I mean, being a waiter is like one of those jobs where you can make really, really good money really fast if you just have basic communication skills and you have good work ethics. And it gets addictive, having that cash at the end of every shift. And some waiters, I mean, based out of California, that's where my restaurants were at, but my waiters were able to score between $25 all the way to $55 an hour based on a 20% tip. The rule behind tipping is normally you should give 10% no matter what. I'm sorry, but lots of waiters are pretty much working for the tips. They don't work for minimum wage. And I always give 10%, even if the service was bad, because guess what? I know what's going on behind the scene, and sometimes they may not have a good day, things go wrong. Always give them feedback, etc., how they can improve their experience. And if they have the worst and shittiest day, I will still give 10%, and I will not let one person spoil my experience, my enjoyment with my guests. So I will be doing it for 10 years, and so many people, next thing you know, they went there for a quick buck, and next thing you know, they are there for like 10 years. This lady, I'm not going to say any name, guys, for the sake of protecting the identity of these people, because I know that there is lots of people watching out there and tracking down names like they have nothing else to do. But this lady said that people can't do simple math percentage. I had the guest last week tell his wife, I left her 20% tip. Hey, genius, $3 is nowhere close to 20% on a $62 ticket. It's third grade math, people. It is true. The rules of good, proper tipping and good restaurant etiquette. You give 10% no matter what. 15% if the service was okay, 18% if you're very happy, 20% if you're delighted, and the sky is the limit from there. And if you're a waiter checking this out and your restaurant does not include in the receipt an expected tip amount, go to your manager whenever the restaurant puts on the receipt, hey, this is 10%, this is 15%, like a tipping guideline to be printed on the receipt. So lots of POS systems give you the chance to do that. have your manager activate that option and tell him, hey boss, I met this guy on the internet, he said it increases the tip amount, let's try it out. And when your guests don't tip you that amount, lots of waiters just keep it to themselves and they get upset. They're like, oh my god, you only jinxed me out of my tip, they think I'm working for minimum wage. You go to them, and and if you don't have the courage to go to them, you run to your manager. That's what managers are for. And the manager will go and they will tell them, excuse me sir, what went wrong with your experience? And 8 times out of 10 the guests will just play stupid. They were either intoxicated or they didn't know, they were from a different kind of culture, they're not used to the tipping. And you just need to educate your guests and let them know, hey, I work for tip, what went wrong? And and if they give you a genuine feedback, well, guess what? Learn from it and don't take it personal. Another lady said that people are way more stupid and rude than you could ever have imagined. That people are way more stupid and rude than you could have ever imagined. And it's true. I mean, guess what? You don't know where these people are coming from. And sometimes it's true. Like, you hear some reactions and you're like, did this person just say that? Or did they just mention that? Like being in the restaurant industry, it's a very people intensive, and your people skills and ability to read people and behavior is going to get better just because it has to do with experience. You meet so many people, so many characters, you learn how to read people sometimes even before talking to them. They walk to the door and you can feel whether they have a good energy and it's going to be an exciting table, or people that are coming and you feel like there is something wrong with them. You develop that sense. And it's true that sometimes you come to some people and, don't judge them because you never know what they went through, and just be patient. You are in the hospitality industry and you're going to meet people that are way more stupid and rude than you ever thought possible. And, and just be sorry for them and keep on smiling and look at their nose. Something I always like to do. I really think that people's nose are funny. Just looking at their nose, and actually you don't sweat it because it's just a table among others. Don't let one person affect your full-blown experience while there is 7.6 billion people in the world. Another one, this lady says, lots of ladies, that people think we make hourly wages. It is true. Lots of people assume that the tipping is not required. Once again, I see that recurrent amount about tipping. Okay, this other lady said, I will be getting a divorce thanks to my long hours at work. Wow. So, yeah, divorce are no fun, but on the other side, I would have to say congratulations if you got a divorce, because better that it happened now than happening in 5 or 10 years. It's amazing how many people are stuck in a relationship where they don't deserve the other person, and when the other person does not deserve them. I am sorry it has to come to a divorce, and if that person is end up watching this stream right now, I am so sorry, but you can always use one reason, but I don't think that it's really your long hours at work. When people decide to split, there is deeper, more profound things. Communication, misunderstanding, mismatch, difference in faith, difference in plans, their life experiences. Sometimes people will love their significant other based on the way their mom loved their dad, and if dad was an abusive personality, chances are they're going to be able to replicate that experience with the people they're going to love in an unconscious manner. But hey, this channel is not about marital counseling, but hey, it sucks to know that somebody will get a divorce because you decide to spend lots of time at work. I think there is more deeper excuses behind it. And sometimes when people want to split, they just don't have the courage to be sincere about it, and they will use any kind of other reason just to get out. So, sorry, but it's true that we do work long hours. The hospitality industry, when people are resting is when we work. When people are working, that's when we rest. So our lifestyle can be very different, and that's why it's somehow good to have either make lots of money and keep your significants at home and provide for all of them, or have the same kind of lifestyle. It really helps. And don't get me wrong, this is all you end up doing your own decision. Please don't judge. If you think yet your significant other should not hang out at the house, Excellent, do that. For me, in my dream, I would love to be able to provide for my lady to be at the house and work if she wants as a luxury. I would love to be the one that's be able to provide. Okay, moving on. Or this one. Okay, I didn't know that I will be doing it till I die. Well, it's true. It is a very attractive career. You know, it's so much fun. I mean, literally, think about it. When you're a waiter, despite all the drama that people are building, and I like to talk about how you avoid drama and things of the kind on other videos. So please, if you are watching this, do subscribe. Let's make ourselves better. I'm learning from you guys a lot, and there is no way I can cover all aspects of a topic in one short video. Everybody has very short attention spans. And it seems that the best video end up being the one that are short and address one special point. So please do subscribe and let's learn together. But it is true, it's one of those businesses, the hospitality industry, where you're surrounding yourself but people that are having a good time. I mean, think about it. Any other profession, when people go and knock at the doctor's office, the mechanic, anything, you know, they have this problem. They come in grumpy and they know that they're going to spend money. They're obligated. Versus the hospitality, they come to you by choice. You know, they're hungry. They can go to so many different places and they choose your establishment because they're going to come out of it, as I like to say, rested. Restaurants has the word rested in it. Lots of people forget that in the industry. They forget that our job is to make sure people get rest. Some people are fun, some people are not. And at the end of the day, we are not there to treat everybody like sheep. Everyone has their own special circumstance. And I would always like to say, as part of the script, yes, I do believe in scripting when you interact with your guests to minimize stress and just make it into a business, you know, turn it into consistent and repeatable processes instead of every time trying to think, what am I going to say, what am I going to do? And you know, make it more alive. The moment you start just rehearsing things that are just using plain words, are you ready to take your order? What about saying, hey, can I please be of any help with the menu? You know, and there is this chemistry and this way to look at addressing the other guests. It doesn't matter if they're the rudest person in the world. I believe if you talk to them with the proper sequence of words, you will be able to bring down their barriers. And I really also believe, I mean, don't get me wrong, there is lots of people that are whoop, whoop, whoop out there. But, you know, if you address people properly and following a specific pattern of words and, you know, being extremely respectful toward themselves and toward yourself as well, you know, that will minimize crazy scenarios that so many waiters vent for. So you'll be doing it till you die because it's a lot of fun. You come in, you do all the preparation work. Think about it as like throwing a party, and you throw your party for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And if you have your system and your decks in a row, whether you are a seasoned waiter, whether you plan to be a future waiter, maybe you're a restaurant manager or future or current restaurant owner, it's all in preparation. That's when victory is. And when everything is prepared, your opening is done properly. And it's okay if the closers the night before did not do a good job. It's okay, you know, it's a team effort. And when you get ready and people come in, you have a good time because you know what you do and you know the job description of everybody else in your team, and people just have good character. And it's addictive. Sometimes next thing you know, you went into being a waiter because maybe you wanted to be an actor, maybe you wanted just to save money to buy your car, but the atmosphere and the corporate culture of the hospitality industry is amazing. You're surrounded by food, by music, by people celebrating a good time, and you're being exposed to literally human nature, which in itself can be amazingly entertaining if you decide to look at it that way. Moving on, this one said that I will become an introvert. So introvert is somebody who is not extrovert. Extrovert is like somebody who likes to talk to people, etc., etc. I relate to this one. I seriously can't stand the majority of the human race. I spend my days off with my dog. She's awesome. Well, I have to relate to this one. I've been running restaurants out of the Silicon Valley since 2008. And man, you will spend some days, you will meet 150, 200 new people. And after a little while, you are so surrounded by my waiters that are asking, my vendors, my clients, my future events, my current event, the catering, the retail. And from the time you step inside the restaurant, or should I say from the time you wake up, you are bombarded by demands to interact with others. And it can be a lot of fun when you get started, especially if you're not used to talk to lots of people, or if you're an introvert and you want to expand that. But after doing it for years and years and years, you learn how to appreciate your alone time. And I have to relate with this one quite a bit. You know, the fact of not having anybody asking you to do something or to help them. When you're into this industry, you're like full blown helping others or others helping you, either through food, through service, through words, through attendance, through responsiveness, through suggestions. I mean, there is so many interactions that you can have. As a restaurant owner, you deal with HR, PR, management, human resources, legal, marketing, information system. I mean, there is so many different elements, and it's going to be very exciting. But it is true that by being in the trenches and not taking the time to rest, this is why so many restaurant professionals get burned, because they just take for the money and they go for the thrill, but they realize that this vessel that they're using actually does need some rest in order to recuperate, in order to assimilate, in order to enjoy, to learn. You need to feed yourself properly. Don't eat standing up. And it's true that when people don't do that, after a little while, people just get burned. And whenever they have time off, they're not interested to go out and socialize because their work is entertainment and socializing. Okay, and this, well, man, only ladies so far, that people will be assholes. Oh my gosh. But often it's nothing you did wrong, so don't let it bother you. Very good one. That people will be assholes, but often it's nothing you did wrong, so don't let it bother you. It's true. I mean, if you have a proper script, you never know what people are going through, man. I mean, God knows what their story is. I believe, as I like to say in some videos, we all have this little movie going on. And how can you know which kind of movie the other person is watching? I had this conversation with this history teacher earlier on. We had breakfast, and and he shared with me that as human beings, we only display about 1/3 of who we really are. If we were to display the full-blown personality of what's going on inside, well, they would probably put us in an asylum. So yeah, I mean, just be kind and merciful, and when people come in with a bad attitude, most of the time you will be able to detect it from the get-go, and and you are there to do the best you can, but there is always limitation. If you do your job right, if you know you're behind on a table, it's okay to ask for help from other people in your team. And this is something I see quite a bit on many waiter and restaurant manager forum, is that sometimes they don't help each other because guess what? They get a little bit too comfortable with each other. They start cracking jokes. Next thing you know, the relationship is not that professional. And when the job comes in and they need to work for the establishments that actually sign their check, sometimes they just don't help each other because, well, guess what? They don't respect the other person in their work anymore. So I know I went little tangents. And this lady, I didn't know that I would eventually hate the entire human race. Okay, so we see a little pattern here. Not to go to college because I make more doing this. Yes, I mean, hey, listen, you can make $35 to $55, $65 an hour waiting tables without spending a dime on going to college. And in that regard, if your goal is just to accumulate money, yeah, being a waiter is an amazing job. But once again, people do get burned. So I recommend have a vision where you want to be, have a very clear vision. Don't get stuck in something for 10 years and then realize that 10 years went by. Now, I have to say something for the defense of college, and lots of the millennials, the kids that may be watching the video, or just if you are considering being a waiter, it's easier to say, well, the college system is outdated, they don't teach us what we need, blah, 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 blah. But in my personal experience, I'm a graduate of Fresno State University, so if you're a bulldog, whoop, whoop, and those were some of my best years because it's one of the few moments in your life when your brain, your mind gets exposed to so many different topics that you may never ever use ever again. I agree, but it just opens up your mind toward conceptual approaches, philosophy, astrology, mathematics, geometry, chemistry, biology. I mean, there is so many different topics, and you have a chance to actually absorb and learn a little bit about so many different things, theater. And once you go into the trenches of just making money and chasing the illusion of having a big bank account, well, guess what? You are never going to have a chance to be exposed to that. And once you don't do it, you're in the trenches, and next thing you know, you've been doing it for 10 years, and all you know is knowing that menu, and that's it. So, I mean, with all respect to the waiter profession, it's like the most important ally, but I do believe in continual education. And and don't tell me I'm not going to college, because if you're just for the sake of money, you're going to be in for a big surprise, because you're never going to have enough money. Whenever you have more money, your lifestyle increases, but your margins of savings remain the same, and the hustle remains the same. You need more than just the quest for money. A gentleman, finally, that this job career is as easy or as hard as you make it on yourself. If you stress yourself out, it's an awful job and it's really hard. If you keep yourself from getting stressed even when you're in the weeds, then it's really not that hard. It's beautiful, yeah, it's true. It's really what you make out of it. And you need to have a positive energy. Sometimes lots of waiters get lots of stress because the training is not up to par. And if I can give a little tidbit of information, when you're inside the restaurant, especially when it's busy time and you come at 6 p.m. and the dining room is already half full and the big rush is about to come, so many things comes at you at the same time. The phone is ringing, people at the door, food on the window, water refill, the manager asks you to do something, the owner asks you to do something, the entertainer needs you to turn the music down. There's so many things that are coming at you at the same time, and it's going to be extremely overwhelming if you don't know what to start with. And these are my rules to start. Your food, always focus on food. If there's food on the window, I don't care if that table is telling me how amazing my accent is, or all the life experiences they had, or they're going to give me the key to long life happiness. What I'm going to focus is on the food. And very politely I will say, excuse me, I see food on the window, let me take care of it, I'll be right back. And even if you don't come back, guess what, it's okay, because they are not there to talk to you, they're there to enjoy their guests, and they know that you are busy, and they will respect you more and tip you more if you actually stay focused on the job. People are just polite sometimes, thinking that they want to talk to you, but in fact they are there to talk with their guests. And and if it's very slow and you are already taking care of the table amazingly well, and you did all your side worksheets, and you want to enjoy the conversation with the guests, and you feel that there is a chemistry and it's going to encourage them to come back, or they're going to tip you more, go ahead and do it. But your job, guys, is not to entertain people. This is a job, and if you end up entertaining them and entertaining yourself and getting the job done, definitely go for it. So I love this one. Don't stress yourself out. So first, the food. 2, guest experience. What does guest experience mean? It doesn't mean like how their face looks or the chakra energy coming out. What the experience is just look at their table. When I go inside the restaurants to check, and it's like 7 p.m. and it's full-blown activity, I look at the table. The table will tell me a story. By looking at the table, I know if they're ready for dessert, if they're ready for more refills, if they're ready for the main entree, if they're ready for the salad, or if they're just waiting and somebody has forgotten about them, because the table tells me a story. Sure, you can have some fun trying to learn people's body language, but truth of the matter is, just by glancing at the table, it should tell you exactly what they need or where they are at in their dining experience. And third is everything else. So food, guest experience, everything else. Everything else is just that. It's everything that is not related to food and to guest experience. Can the high level of the music be part of the guest experience? Yes, it is. Can a refill be part of the guest experience? Yes, it is. Restocking. So anything that is not related to food and guest experience falls into everything else. Moving on. Put more money away to pay your taxes, or you will be F. You will be F. So yes, so we most of the waiters don't don't get their taxes collected when you get your tips. And I'm talking about Americas or places where tipping is standard. It may not apply to you if you work in a country where tipping is not the norm. So, but if you're in a country like the Americas, lots of the tip that you receive, your employer will report them at the end of the year to the IRS to make sure that you pay tax on them. And lots of waiters don't know that. Once again, poor training. And what they do, they end up blowing all this money. Next thing you know, they file their tax returns, and the IRS tells them, well, your employer told me that you made more than that. What about your tips, etc., etc.? And then they end up having a bill at the end of the year, and that's not good news. So this is a very good one. It took me a while to learn not to make things personally. I wish I had known that from day one. Yes, I mean, on the other side, it's very easy to fall into, oh my gosh, it's not my fault, it's them. I mean, you have to do your job right, and you know if you're doing your job right or not. You know how fresh you are when you come to work. You know how much you enjoy doing your job or you don't. And the moment you stop losing that passion, people feel that in a quick of a second. Don't be cheap when it comes to footwear. Yes, soldier, you're going to be walking lots of miles. Lots of wearers are actually pretty light on their feet because they spend lots of the time walking, and they keep on walking and they stop. It's like some kind of a martial art of walking super fast towards the table, and then as soon as you get close, you slow down your motion like Matrix style. And you need to focus on having a good footwear. It's extremely, I mean, your feet are your best allies, and I do know that it sometimes can be attractive to buy a cheap pair, but is it better to buy a cheap pair that you're going to choose once a month and have literally amazing pain, or focus on invest on a good one that you can use not only for work but for going out, and that's going to last you 6 months all the way to a year, depending how well you take care of them. Restaurant business, quick cash, lots of money. You can't be 22 forever. Well, you know, it's funny, but I don't see that many waiters that are making a career out of it. Lots of people go into it to make quick money and move out. But I remember back in the 80s, I know that doesn't make me any younger, but you know, there were people that were waiters by career, and it was beautiful to see them work because they were just like masters of the trade. Literally, you go in and you don't even need to do anything. They already almost know what you order. They will come to your table and tell you, should I fill up your table with appetizers? And they have that charisma. Like, you can see that they spend their life taking care of others, and you feel comfortable that, hey, this person is going to take very good care of me. And it is quick cash and fast cash. It is correct. I don't understand the part about you can't be 22 forever. Yes, I can be 22 forever, and 32 forever, and 42 forever. It's all inside. Okay, this lovely lady said, how much it will change me as a person. I used to be sweet and quick, not now. Okay, it is true that, you know, sometimes when you get like so abused, and it's true, if you let your guest, and you are, once again, I have to talk to the importance of proper training your wait staff. You have like these amazing people that are coming to your establishment. They're excited about the hospitality industry, about surrounded by food, about all the glamour. And I, as I always like to say, I think we have done a horrible job at promoting the restaurant business as an attractive career. So you have these gems, these people that are fresh, that you can mold, train, and you let them go and get crushed by guests that are mean, but not teaching them the menu, by not giving them a way to actually progress. You're asking a waiter to come to your establishment to work, and you want them to learn 75 different items word by word, plus learn the table numbers, how to set up the sequence of service, etc., etc. Boss, if you are a restaurant owner, please be kind to your future staff, because you don't want them to say, oh my God, your job changed me as a person. I used to be sweet and quiet, and now I'm not anymore. You know, and this extensive interaction with people is going to sharpen your people skills. So I don't know how it's going to end up being, but really, if you have a vision and don't let, once again, people take the best out of you, I think you can make great things out of that experience. Okay, that's in the corporate world. Open availability turns out in the host. She wants to work open to close 6 days a week and a third shift on the 7th. What does this mean? That's when you're going to be a waiter, your management, the people that are going to be doing the schedule, is going to ask you about when can you work. So you have to be very careful about that. It's true. Lots of waiters come to me, tell me, well, open availability, I can work whenever you want. And then you give them all the shifts they want. And when somebody tells me I want open availability, that person is serious. And the more time they spend inside the restaurant working, the better their skill level is going to become. And sometimes I will be tempted to just offer them like a lot of different shifts. And ultimately that will affect their mood. They're like, oh my gosh, I wasn't expecting to work 6 days out of the week. I wasn't expecting to work 11-hour shifts, etc., etc. So if you're a restaurant manager, restaurant owner, somebody who is responsible of scheduling, please take that into consideration. Don't abuse, because you may get them burned. It doesn't, because somebody tells you, oh, I can work every single day, means that they can physically and emotionally do it. So take it easy on those new hires. And if you tell them, hey, are you sure you want to do it? And they want to try it for a week or two, and then do a little check with them. But most of the time, when you give them 6 days a week, they're very happy when they see their paycheck. You know, that's the money actually alleviates most of the pain. At least on the superficial level. But you know, after they work, they will be like, oh, you know what? Physically, I'm not as good. And you want your waiters to come to your restaurant fresh. I mean, they're going to be the face of your restaurant. If they already worked 11 hours or 10 hours or 9 hours back to back in a very intensive business, talking to people, selling, moving, running, laughing, applauding, celebrating birthdays for 6 days in a row, humanly it's kind of hard to do and to swallow and to handle, especially if you do it for weeks and weeks in a row. So take it easy on the scheduling. I know you want to make that quick money, but you want to last. Okay, this gentleman said that certain groups of people don't know how to tip. So certain cultures, it's just not part of their tradition. And I'm going to address that very simply, because you don't want to insult anybody or put people into groups and say this ethnicity doesn't tip or these people don't tip. When people come inside your house, it's your party and you set up the theme. And I always like to say, I hear that so many times, waiters do contact me sometimes, tell me, Sham, my God, they're not tipping me, I've done everything right, what should I do? And then they just cry, and then they go and they vent on certain forums. It's your income, that's how you make a living. If you think you did a good job and somebody's not tipping you right, I will go to them. Excuse me, sir, excuse me, ma'am, sorry for interrupting, did you have a good time? Yes. Well, I just looked at my tip and I get paid on tip, so you just tipped me like 10%. What went wrong? And 8 times out of 10 people will be apologetic for whatever reason, whether it was their true intent or not. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not here to analyze the why behind every single person. For me, I did a good job. I need to get paid. If you don't pay me right, it is my right to ask. If I've done something wrong, I want to learn from it to get better. And for example, in certain countries, they just don't tip. Europeans don't tip. Pretty much the only place where people tip are the Americas. So if you're in the Americas and you have people that have a very thick accent, they may not be able to tip as properly because they don't know. And I think it is our responsibility to educate them about it. Like good service does have an 18 to 20% tip. And if you did a good job and you feel that connection is there, lots of people tell me, oh, the nicest people are the worst tippers. All these kind of rules are kind of easy to jump into because that's what we process information. We just put everything into drawers because it makes it easier for us to process. But take the time to go there, talk to your manager, tell them, hey, I want you to put a tipping guideline. It will increase everybody's tip. The way, if you're a restaurant manager or owner, ensure that your team is well taken care of and well paid. It's amazing. I mean, I worked out of California, but in some other state, the minimum wage is $2.25. How can you live on that? Plus, you have bad weather. Automatically, people are out the door. People are not coming for the restaurant. If the restaurant does not have a good marketing strategy, if their cuisine sucks, if there is a switch of chefs, automatically their bottom line gets affected. Boss, you have to protect your wait staff, and if you're a waiter or planning to be a future waiter, you need to have the courtesy to communicate freely with your manager. I mean, it's not about telling every time there is something wrong to be the first one to make a big fuss about it. You can take your manager on the side, they will appreciate you for it and say, hey boss, this is what I noticed. The chips are not adding up. Am I doing something wrong? Learn that challenges instead of letting them rot you from the inside. Go ahead and talk to your manager and excel. Show them that you care and help them out. Nobody likes the team player who just spreads cancer rumors. Once again, I repeat, nobody likes a team player that spreads cancer rumor. There's always those employees that come in and just have lots of negative energy. Don't feed into that. Whenever you hear somebody just talking BS, you're busy, move up, be polite, say, oh yeah, sure, oh that's what you are, and then you move up to something that's actually going to help you in your money making and your skill development. How much I wish I had a pension you need to save. Yes, most restaurants, institutions do not offer a retirement plan, and you need to plan for that on your own. How much customer complain and try to get everything free. My mom was a server. I never seen her have to deal with any of the crap we do. Interesting. So people try to get things for free, huh? I don't know. I don't have that experience. They will expect, if the service is horrible, to get things for free. But if you do a proper service and you do your job right, whenever they ask me, can I get this and that? Or, like when they have this kind of crazy demands, sometimes the table will come in and they would like to change the entire recipe. I will let them talk. And when they finish, they'll be like, is there anything else? They'll be like, I was like, we can definitely do that. And you'll be like, okay, but it's going to cost you $10, $15 a person. And 9 times out of 10, they will just skip it. If they want something just on the side due to food allergies or whatever it is our job to accommodate them. But sometimes you will get some guests that just want to change the entire restaurant's concept and recipe, and they want to change things around. And if you're a waiter and you don't feel comfortable coaching them, you go to the manager, ask for advice, but most of the time I will go back to them and tell them, yeah, we can definitely do that. extra $7 per person. And and if they don't mind waiting, if you don't mind waiting a little bit longer and pay that extra $7 a person, we will do it. It's more money for the restaurant. And most of the time people will just say, well, no, I was expecting it for free. And guess what? Well, smiles are free, water is free, and love is free. Okay, moving on, and we're getting almost to the end of this. Push some cash away, because if you don't, when you get older, Social Security is not going to be able to help you. Yes, it's true. Make some savings to pay your taxes. Make some savings for your retirement, especially if you plan to be on the long run being a waiter. You need to plan for your future, please. People are discussing oxygen thieves, and most mothers should have swallowed or launched themselves down a staircase. Maybe it's just my town. Yeah. People can be oxygen thieves. That has to do with the human nature, that the struggle is real. I will be stuck. Life could have been way better if I never started a waiting table. I'm a little bit surprised by this one. I mean, guess what? It's one of the jobs that helps you make money. You have to be very clear about why you're going into being a waiter. If your job is just to make quick money and live and end up spending it, well, the waiting job is going to do that. But lots of people go into it, they're just for the money. What is this money for? What is your plan to do with it? Are you planning to open your restaurants in the future? You need to have a clear vision. If you don't have a clear vision, maybe this is your time to start doing serious questions about what you want to do. And if you don't want to, and you give yourself, hey, I'm going to be a waiter for a year, but go for it and enjoy being that waiter, but make those little timelines for evaluations every 3 months, every 6 months, at the end on the weekend, moments where you give yourself the time to reflect on yourself and find out what your plan is. That I should have went straight to bartending. Yeah, bartending is easier. Well, guess what? Because you're just getting people inebriated and losing control. However, bartending will lead you to a lot of late hours. Most of the money that bartenders make is after 10 p.m. People get nasty. It stinks. There is security issue, your sleeping pattern is all a maze, and you're surrounded by people that are just like abusing it. So hey, if you like that nightlife and seeing people lose control and puke all over themselves, bartending may be an interesting way, but man, I used to be quite involved in the nightlife, and just people get ugly, man, when they get wasted. I mean, if you're a bartender, most of the bartenders end up being like major alcoholics as well, just in order to keep up with that energy. I don't think it's a very good energy, but it's going to be a lot of fun. And if you need to get that out of your system, go ahead and do it. But please be careful. Alcohol can be extremely addictive. Don't drink and drive. Be smart about it. And it will make you, as this gentleman said, that alcohol actually just lowers your vibration, and it's just going to open room and doors to versions of yourself that you did not know existed. And at the beginning, it's going to be a lot of fun because it's exciting, because it takes away your shyness. But as you keep on drinking, it's going to open up a very dark side. And you know what I'm talking about if you know who you are. Keep a level head and don't take anything personally. This is coming back. That I will never be able to say thank God it's Friday, because Friday is like the busiest time in the restaurant. I always liked Friday. Whenever the restaurant was full, man, I was happy because more people, and when there is this dynamic in the restaurant, the restaurant is packed, everybody is having a good time. Even if service is not amazing, but the fact of having all these people having a good time and laughing and good food coming out and plates breaking and the music and more people coming in beautifully dressed, all this energy is great. So I disagree. I always said thank God it's Friday, thank God it's Monday, thank God it's Tuesday, thank God I'm alive today. That the chances of you getting out of the business are slim to none. Yeah, that people are assholes in general, never take it personally, this is coming back. That it will make me a cynical, perverted alcoholic. And it's true, you see people that you really try to give your heart to during the service. And lots of restaurant owners can relate to this one. Like as the experience the waiter can have with their guests, the restaurant owners have that same experience with not only the guests but their team. People come to work for you or with you, as I like to say, in the restaurant, and you open your heart to them and you share with them the excitement and the vision, and next thing you know, they disappear without even a thank you. And that's exactly the way waiters sometimes feel with their tables, if not all the time. They've done the best job possible, and at the end they get jinxed and not being given the proper acknowledgement of their good work, and the waiters judge a good acknowledgement of their good work and skills with the tip, and the managers measure this good appreciation of their employees by them sticking around, by them doing an amazing job, and for bringing the energy up. You know, there is once again always these negative members of the hospitality industry that are giving us a bad name because they just talk bad energy. So please, I know it's kind of easy and it's nice to vent and talk about how crazy the world is, etc., but you're not helping yourself by refeeding and rehearsing that negative stuff. So, you know, I believe in the power of the spoken words, and whatever you say is going to become your reality. So if you keep on saying to yourself, people are horrible, people are horrible, people are horrible, I'm a perverted, cynical alcoholic, well, guess what? It's going to happen. So try to use the power of positive affirmation for you to rise up, you know, and if there is a place that has lots of negative energy, maybe it's a time for you to move on, or before you even make that call, have a heart-to-heart talk with your manager, and there is a proper way to actually do that. If you have any questions about it, let me know. And that's completed the live reaction today about how to things a waiter wish they knew before they became a waiter. Once again, my name is Sham, on the community as a responsible restaurant owner. I hope you did enjoy this. Everything happens in the comment section, so let me know what you think. Please like, please subscribe. All these videos I make are responses to your questions, guys. And until we meet again, remember the secret ingredient is love, baby. It's love.